I see I
Hello.
got promoted. Shelly's all about promotion.
What does it say on your end, Bob, when you say that you were promoted?
Says I was promoted to panelist.
Oh.
I told Dana I would text her when we wanted her to join. So probably about 6:45. I can let her join if that works.
Yeah, that's fine.
Otherwise, I Will says his computer just crashed. He's starting back up, but it may be a minute. I think we've almost got a quorum, don't we?
We do.
There he is, bright and shiny.
Hello.
Hi, Logan.
Hey, good evening, Bob. Good to see you.
This is
Good
what I
to
get
have
for
you.
not turning the computer on until 6:20 is when problems go awry, you don't have much time to fix them.
Yep. Mine is so slow, I usually give myself extra time anyway. Okay. Shelly, I think we have a quorum. You want to take roll?
Sure, and I'll watch for the others. Michael?
Here.
Rachel?
Here.
Kara?
Here.
Raphael? Logan?
Here.
Marissa?
Here.
Bob?
Here.
Councilmember Anderson?
Here.
Will?
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Okay. First item would be to approve the minutes of our last meeting. I think we have 2 meetings that we need to approve, don't we?
I think we just have one.
We just have one.
And I so
Okay.
move.
Yeah, I looked at them. I didn't have any problems. Do I have a second to approve?
know if I was there, but if I was, I second.
Who was
We'll
that?
take it.
That was Rachel.
That was
Rachel?
Rachel. All in favor, say aye.
I,
I
Bye.
Believe we have a unanimous vote. All opposed, if there are any. Then we will take the minutes as approved. Let's see, Logan, this is your first time, correct?
sure is. Thanks for having me tonight, guys.
As well
Well,
as
we
Marissa too.
We
Marissa
want to
too.
thank you for being here, I'll tell you. Can you
Oh.
give us some background? What drew you to us?
Certainly. Yeah, the pleasure's all mine. I'll just start a little bit about myself. My name is Logan Dunning. I work in government affairs for Copic companies. We're a medical liability insurer based here in Denver. Worked for them for about a year and a half. My wife and I moved up here to Denver from Austin, Texas back in 2016. Just with regard to what brought me here, I've always had an interest in, environmental sustainability. I did some work with the Texas Water Foundation for a couple of years, working on water planning across the state, and I work in healthcare or insurance, but another story, another day. But always been interested there. And so I wanted to get involved civically here. My wife and I liked the area enough. We bought a house back in 2019 here in Englewood. So just wanted to get involved and try and contribute to the conversations and some of the projects that are going on in Englewood. And I guess I said something right to Councilman Anderson, because here we are. So thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to being a part of the conversation.
Well, it's good to have you, but Joe's standards aren't very high.
The highest.
Yeah, yes, indeed. And why don't we introduce ourselves? I'm Bob Stephenson.
Bob,
I'm the
Marissa is
chair.
also a new member starting today as well.
Oh, Bertha, yes.
Marissa.
Where is she? I keep
right here. Hi.
losing people. I've got too many.
It's all
I've
right.
got too many pictures on my computer. And what draws you to us?
Yeah, so I work at Big Brothers Big Sisters, and our office is actually down here in Englewood. And I've worked there for about 6 years. Really love the work that we do. It's a lot of like one-to-one mentoring, if you guys are familiar. And then my husband and I also bought a house in Englewood about 3 years ago. And we really love it down here. And I'm involved in the greater Denver community, but wanted to get more involved with my direct community where I live. So really happy to be here. And thanks for having me, everybody.
Well, it's good to have you. I'm Bob Stephenson. I think I will still be chair after tonight, but I worked for the city and the Parks Department for some 33 years, and I've always been interested in what's going on with the community and how to make it better. And so I just kind of applied and told them to put me where they needed me, and I ended up on KEB and have worked here now for about 4 years, 4 out of the 5 years that I've been retired, and just whittled away until there was nobody else left to be chairman, and so I'm chairman now. So, and let's go around. Will is our staff advisor. He works for community development, and he's the glue that keeps us together. He and Shelly, I can always count on to straighten me out or whatever. So Mike, why don't you go next?
I'm Michael Chisholm, and I'm retired. I've been on the committee for, I think, just under 3 years. Moved to Englewood about 4.5 years ago, and interested in sustainability, environmental issues, and just really like Englewood a lot and like to chip in any way I can.
Great. Who'd like to go next? Marissa?
We already heard from Marissa.
Already got me.
But, Cara. do
Oh,
you wanna go?
yeah. Am I out in space?
Yeah. I'm Cara. I, like the rest of you guys, I bought a house in Englewood about 3 years ago, and I just love it. I love my neighbors. I love the community. I love all the parks that we have. I have a dog and just want to see those stay beautiful. So here I am.
Great.
Then we also have Rachel on there as well.
Yeah, Rachel Pelia, same. I bought a house maybe about a year and a half ago. Full disclosure, I wanted to judge the holiday light competition, and that was my motivation. To get more involved in the community. But I think I've been on for the board or the what are we committee for about a year, maybe exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, she's one of our newest members. And she's visiting from the year 3020 or so. Back
1985.
to the future. So we know how it all turns out. Have I got everybody? Yeah,
I believe so.
I think that's it. Well, it's great to have some new blood and some excitement, and we've got a lot of neat things happening that we've kind of been putting together. And I think I saw that Dana has just joined us. If you got an email from Will, it contained the project around the depot pollinator garden. And Dana has been working on this for over a year. I mean, Dana, I keep doing that.
Everybody does.
And she has laid a great foundation, and we are looking to help expand that and build on what she's been doing. And so I think I'm just going to turn it over to you and let you explain a little about what you're doing, and we will then get into some of the nuts and bolts about what we can or cannot do and where we're at, and go from there. How's that?
Sure. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me at the meeting. So I think it's 3 years I've been working on this, actually. But so this was a project that was planned to be done in several phases, mostly because we didn't expect the city to fund the whole project. And the original impetus for it was to demonstrate the viability and the beauty of doing low water native landscaping, and to try to, I guess, shift people's preconceptions that things are going to look very beige and just be dull and have rocks if you try to do sustainable landscaping. So we did a proposal and Parks liked it. And they gave us money to do the pilot phase last summer. And I don't know if any of you have noticed, but there's a garden bed along the south side of the community garden fence. And I could say I'm glad we did it in stages, because we learned a lot from doing the pilot phase. But you know, I feel like it was successful. It will take a little while, for several years, for these plants to mature and really show what they can be. But anyway, Parks liked it and wanted to go ahead with the next phase. So that's what we're gearing up for now. And it's a much more substantial undertaking that we're planning now. It's a little more than twice as much that will be of area that will be planted in the second phase. And I feel like this is the phase where it's going to really start to look like something, where I don't know if any of you have seen, Parks just in the last several days has started putting in steps, and there will be steps that come up from Dartmouth, and a path will wind its way through to the northeast corner of the park on Fox Street. And that's really sort of how people do cut through the park anyway. And what can I say? And then, and there will be seating, and there will be an entry arch, and there will be educational signs added, and different areas that will focus on different habitats. So, areas that are more bird nesting habitat, but plants that are host plants to butterflies, and, different areas with signage. And so, partly it is the goals are environmental, and to model sustainable landscaping and address biodiversity, the crisis, the decrease in pollinators and birds by creating this habitat. And also, I really see it as a spot that can be a hub for the community, and a place where there can be workshops, and a lot of, there can be stuff that engages kids with art, garden art, and I have exhaustive lists of curriculum. There's tons of free pollinator curriculum that's available online. And I've been in touch with Audubon Rockies. They have kits for kids to do pollinator education and bird education. There's lots of citizen science projects the community can get involved with. I see doing, we could do movie screenings of different movies about sustainability, do workshops on transitioning from turf to native landscaping. So, and because it's going to be a ton of work, as we realized from our small pilot phase, there will be a lot of opportunities for people to get together and help with the garden maintenance. And I would like it to be one night a week as a specific weekly thing. And maybe it's a potluck afterwards, but just it becomes a regular thing that people come and make friends and garden and help out. And let's see what else. I think that covers most of it. And then the final stage, so there will still be a front section of the park, and then the back sort of corner alongside the community garden that will still need to be done. And the plan is that over the course of the summer, we will kill that turf just naturally by solarizing it, and then in the fall seed it as a native meadow. And yeah, and that's most of it. So happy to answer any questions.
Dana, I appreciate this email, and I appreciate your vision for the park. One of which I haven't had a chance to visit. You say here in your sign off, if there's anyone interested at going through it and walking through your plans, to contact you. I would certainly be interested in scheduling something or getting something on the calendar in the coming weeks, months, whatever works for you, and just hearing more.
Sure. And feel free to email me. It could be everybody, if we want to find one time for everybody. I live 5 minutes away, so I can go. Great. I go all the time anyway.
I'll be in touch. Thanks.
Great.
Happy to organize that if anyone else wants to tag along. Just throwing that out there.
I'd be interested.
I'll say, I think that this is a park that you know, it's a very unspectacular little spot, right? And neglected and really not used other than for the community garden. But it's really also, it's a spot that's a gateway to Englewood. And, you know, all along Dartmouth there, as you cross Santa Fe and follow the bike trail to the South Platte, it's really neglected, weedy, you know, not attractive. And I think there's tremendous potential. And, you know, I think this square of a unspectacular park can really change by getting different dimensions, you know, a kind of winding path and different areas. And I do hope to ultimately have like a palette of native plants that connects from Depot to the South Platte along that bike path. And, you know, that the grasses and plants could hide the metal fencing and just, you know, be attractive.
It's impressive what you've already done, Dana. I was over there, I met you over there, and Logan, I think you'll be impressed when you see it.
I have no doubt.
I commend your efforts, and I hope we can help you out.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. You know, Parks has been terrific. And I might not have said, well, there was a lot of weeding last summer, but it's still been a pleasure to create this. And I hope to really get many more people involved. I'm reaching out to a lot of different groups, like Audubon Rockies sent an email to people in Englewood and Littleton who are have certified their yards as Habitat Hero. And so I'm on the board of a group called Wild Ones that promotes native landscaping. And Wild Ones is interested in supporting this project. And through being part of Wild Ones, I've been on committees with people from various other groups like the Colorado Native Landscaping Coalition, the Butterfly Pavilion. So I'm in the process of reaching out to all these other groups, seeing if the Butterfly Pavilion wants to get involved. I'm going to apply to be I forget their wording, but a partner garden with Plant Select. They do these partnerships where they'll give Plant Select plants and then list the garden on their website with other community gardens. So there's a lot to tap into and a lot of people interested in doing this.
Yeah, I love the idea. I think it's really exciting, and you know, love to see it this kind of stuff start happening in our community. And you know, I know you're here for, you know, more of a sponsorship, but if there's you know, volunteer opportunities that you know, we can help, and I would love to. I love gardening. I'm a big gardener myself, so you know, if there's opportunities like that you know, we can be useful and kind of spread the word through the community, I think that would be awesome.
Absolutely, that would be great. Yeah, there will be many opportunities. So.
Good.
So Bob, should I talk about these specific areas?
Well, one of the things that we were looking at, and if you read the email and saw the pictures, you see some structures, some metal edging for a butterfly bed that would probably face Dartmouth, if I remember right? Mm-hmm. And a bike rack type thing or some other sculptures. And I'm wondering, have you got any cost estimates, or have you talked to anybody about what that might entail?
So I met yesterday with a team who do metal work, and walked them through it. They seemed perfect. They like totally got the project and, you know, really seem to have very aligned values and showed me pictures of work they've done. So they're doing a bid. I don't know the prices yet.
Okay. But that's where our grant money would come in probably, right?
Yeah,
'Cause-
that, and you know, I showed them 3 things and told them that the order of importance or priority for them. And, you know, that's a wish list. I really don't know what these will cost. So I figure we'll see what you guys feel, and what can be done. And the other thing, in addition to these, well, so it's the butterfly shaped garden bed, which will be really the center of the garden and will go around the Depot Park sign. And because of the way the hill, there's a slope there. My idea for this is that the combination of the slope and then having the walls of this bed kind of go a little higher in the back upper part of the butterfly will make it really read as a butterfly as you drive by on or walk by on Dartmouth. And these guys really got it and sort of understood that you're trying to make this look like a butterfly in flight, you know, and have the wings really distinguished. So it would be a black edging and then filled either with a lot of like butterfly weed, which is orange, and it might make it look like a monarch, or with blue plants and make it look like our state butterfly, and little bits of yellow. So those are the ideas for that. And then the bike rack. So I'd always thought, you know, just practically you want to have a bike rack there. And then Parks removed this discontinued bus stop that was there. And I thought, well, it's kind of a good spot for a bike rack, but wouldn't that be ugly there? And then I went on Pinterest and saw all these amazing, like, artistic interpretations of bike racks. And I thought, you know, this could really be like an artwork that represents what the park is about and is practical and encourages people to ride bikes there. And the ideas range. I don't know what the prices would be, but the simplest way to do it, I think that would be artistic, would be a log. So there was one picture or two that's a log with these cutouts where the bike tire can park. And then in between the bikes would be like a metal flower or a bee or something that is open so that you could lock your bike through that. So that's one other idea. And then the entry gate on Fox Street, the original idea was to have this circular gate, and they're called moon gates, sometimes called hobbit gates, or hobbit doors. And it's just a very simple but pretty kind of gate. And Parks thought they could build this with wood, and they priced it and said, no, we can't. So certainly this could be done as a very simple wood entry arch, but I had these guys, they'll price out what it would be to do this circular arch. So there's those 3 elements, and in that order of priority. And then the other thing is the phase 3. So when so Parks is right now redoing the irrigation to meet the needs of the new planting, and they really want to just get the whole thing done and stop watering this park and stop mowing it, and not be mowing half of it over this summer. So that's why we decided, all right, let's just kill the turf and we'll seed it in the fall. But this wasn't budgeted for this year, and so that's another element potentially that we could use support.
So the only thing they're going to water is the gardens now? They're not going to water any turf?
Nope.
They They said they're just gonna leave it natural, and it's up to us then to beautify or to the turf area there is now basically ours then. Is that what you're saying?
Something will need to be done with it because we're
Yeah,
gonna kill it, so
yeah.
seeding it rather than getting plants for that whole area is the most economical way to do it. It would probably be a mix of seeding it in a growing medium and putting plugs in either in the fall or in the spring, adding some plants.
Do they have some money for plugs or anything like that, or are they just basically out of the picture?
So
Budget-wise.
they really want this to work, and I think we'll sort of eke out money from where there's little bits left over in different other areas. The one thing is that I would ideally like, and I'll just say I feel like I'm taking a lot of time, and I know you guys have a lot of items, so I'll just wrap it up.
No, this is our main item.
Okay. So there's a land. So while we were inundated with weeds last summer, I started reaching out to various horticultural experts in the state to find out how should we have done this better. I thought I knew what I was doing because I've replaced my front lawn and done the Colorado Master Gardener course, but it's different on this scale. So I reached out to the Denver Botanic Garden and a lot of other people. And so there's one landscaper, his name is Kenton Seth, and he's really known as like one of the leading people for crevice gardens, if that's a familiar thing. But he also has been developing a method for sowing native meadows. And he just was incredibly generous. He has spent hours and hours consulting basically for free on this garden. And the technique that I would want to do for this meadow is really his proprietary technique. And he has told me how to do this, but I really feel like I want him to be paid something. I don't feel it's right to do this method he's developed and this year has been doing trials on without paying him. That said, parks, when I've talked to, and this is all very new that we've decided we're going ahead with the third phase. So I asked them about paying him a fee for his work on this. And they've said basically, no, it's like really complicated. They can't just pay someone. They have to do a bidding process. So I'm hoping to raise some money from different sources where it's less complicated to pay him something. So maybe Wild Ones, maybe you guys, maybe do a fundraiser, but I just feel it's the right thing to pay him something. And I don't know, really, I need to talk to him and see what would feel like a reasonable rate for him.
Okay.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Go ahead.
Is the idea to use some of the grant money from Englewood National?
From Keep America Beautiful?
Or sorry, yeah, Keep America Beautiful, the grant money we got recently?
Yes.
That was one idea.
Okay.
In other words, when Bob and I met with Dana, we just asked the question, how can we help out?
Yeah.
And so.
No, I love it.
everything-
I think we have some requirements we'd have to work in, right? Like we need to have people work through the volunteer portal and X amount of people sign up through the volunteer portal. Right?
I think all that was just for getting it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So otherwise.
Just ours. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
We may have some hoops to jump through. We can get into that at another time, but I wanted to have Dana lay this out for you so that we could get a picture of the overall vision and start moving forward. I have talked to Tony Arnoldi about the volunteer setup and how we could incorporate that so that the volunteers are coming through the city and everything else. And I think we will be able to do something like that. And we'll have to work out the parameters and you know, we've got a couple of months before we really need to move forward. But, and then we also, since we have grant money, we have to understand how we can utilize that. And if there's hoops that we have to jump through to use that, I think we can do that. I just don't know what they are. Will, you might be able to give us an idea, or Joe, if we have to get council approval or something like that, then that's something that we want to get rolling so that as things need to be done, whatever they are, we have the funding or whatever to do. What I see us doing is more or less this being seed money or matching money so that we can get other things involved and keep this moving forward. And as Dana said, there's a whole basically creek bank along Little Dry all the way to the Platte. There's another native area up on Harvard Gulch next to the Harvard Gulch West, next to the bike path that now comes from Federal all the way down to the west bank of the Platte by the power plant there. And Englewood has that up to the railroad tracks as Englewood property. So, and there's some other areas that we might be able to do, but the main thing is to get this particular project going and build from there. And, you know, let's not bite off more than we can chew right now, but let's get it going. And I'm glad to hear some of the excitement, because that's where I got excited. And when I called Parks and said, look, we're looking for something, and they said, boy, is this the right time, you know? And so I think this can happen and we can make it work, and we will continue to stretch the parameters of what we can do and find out what we can do and what we need to do. But Dana's laid out the plan for you, and you can see that there's enough for this year right now to keep us hopping all summer long. So I think that this is really exciting, and we can do a lot and use it for educational opportunities and everything else, pandemic or no. Hopefully by the time fall rolls around, we will be clear of some of the restrictions we're operating on.
Can I jump in, Bob?
Yeah.
I guess I need to direct this to Joe. And I think there's a basic question here. We applied for a grant for Keep America Beautiful. As far as I know, we received $12,000. I don't know the status of that money. I don't know if we have the authority to spend it. I don't know what the rules and regulations are in the city. What I would like to know is, what are the rules and the regulations? Because I think what Dana is trying to do is terrific, and I think it'd be wonderful if we could support her. But I think, I mean, what I'm hearing is maybe, maybe not. We don't know. Maybe the city needs it. There's got to be an answer to that. And if we can't touch the money, tell us. If we can touch the money, tell us. And if there's a rule that we have to comply with or a regulation, tell us, because I would like to be working with Dana next week with some confidence that we can come through for her. And if that's not possible, I'll just accept it and move on. But we've had this grant, allegedly, I don't know. I don't know if we have the money. I don't know if the city has the money. I really need clarification because I'm getting excited too, Bob, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. So as far as I'm concerned, until we get an answer to that question, there's no point in us planning and talking and getting excited. So that's my piece.
I I'm not sure the status on that. I'll certainly put in, I don't know if that money has been received, if it was worked into the budget at all for this year. I don't know those answers off the top of my head. I don't know also if there are strings attached to that money, if there's certain things we can do it. Maybe Will knows more than I do about that, whether, but I'm happy to, the options are if we have the money and we can and available, then I'm happy to push to get it. If it's not in the budget, if it's not budgeted, to see if we can do a supplemental appropriation. We don't need to just sit on the money if it hasn't been worked into the budget. But frankly, I don't have an answer off the top of my head. But I will send off an email and find more. Maybe Will has more information on that right now. I don't know. You know anything, Will?
I have the answer that we did receive the money.
Okay.
That is for sure. The rest of those questions, I didn't know we'd be having this until today, so I have not had a chance to look into any of those following questions. But yeah, maybe Joe, between me and you, we could work on that and figure it out.
Yep, let's do it. Yeah, if we've received the money, then let's figure out what we're allowed to use it for and make sure we get the money released for use for KV. That's what it's there for. So yeah, I'll help it along any way I can.
Yeah, and I believe there weren't any sort of parameters as far as the money. But we were supposed to use it kind of on the HHW event last year, but anything that was left over after that was kind of just to go into our budget. But yeah, like you said, well, we'll look into that together.
Well, this project, I talked to Jason way back when we were applying for the money, and I'm pretty confident that supporting this garden in whatever manner we choose would be very consistent with what Keep America Beautiful would like to see us do, because they're into sustainability. So it's a perfect project, and I think Keep America Beautiful would be quite enthused about us using the money for that kind of purpose.
I think part of the problem is that usually when grant money comes in, it's designated for specific use, direction, and the parameters are very well spelled out. And I don't know how the money was put into the city's coffers. It's probably in a specific account with a number specifically for that. And we will just have to make sure that we're not stepping out of bounds with KAB, and then we can go from there. So if Joe and will keep us apprised of what they find out, then perhaps by next month's meeting, we can have a definitive answer and we can continue to work with Dana on this, and so that we're continuing to move forward. And I think with that pretty much covers what we need to do tonight on this subject. Does anybody have Any other questions or comments or?
I do. I'm doing all the talking. I apologize. If we can get an answer before next month, couldn't we get an answer before next month? And the only reason I'm saying it is, if there's an answer in 2 weeks, a simple email would answer the question, and we could start talking a little more specifically about what we're doing.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying, that
Okay.
that as we move forward on this, we don't need to delay until we have another meeting. But
Okay.
if we can keep in touch and keep moving forward, then we won't lose any momentum. And Dana, do you and Logan want to set up a time to go over there and check it out? Or are others interested in doing that with them? I would assume there was some.
Yeah, I would love to come too if possible.
I'd like to.
Or maybe we should just do this by email. Logan, do you want to email me and loop everyone in who wants to join? And I'm really pretty flexible, so,
Yeah,
whatever
I can do that.
works for everyone.
No problem.
I can make sure that you're all in touch. I think you've all got the emails from tonight, but if not, I will make sure, and then we can just work something out. I'm pretty flexible. I could probably come at some point too. So we'll just set up a time that works for everybody that wants to be there, as many as possible, and we'll go from there. How's that?
Sounds good.
Great. Thank you all so much for having me and considering this, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks, Dana.
Great. Thanks for doing it.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Okay. The next item, we recognized and welcomed the new members. I hope you all feel welcome. We need to appoint a chair and vice chair. And I'm willing to give up the chairmanship if anybody's willing to do it.
You're doing such a great job, though, Bob.
I don't think there's much competition.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah, you go, guy. A vice chair?
That's what we do.
I would volunteer.
Mike would be a natural second. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
I nominate Mike.
Is Mike willing to put up with me and have my back at all times? And
Absolutely.
So Bob, do we have a first and a second?
I'm checking on that right now. Do I have a motion to make Michael the vice chair, Michael Chisholm?
I motion.
Second. Second.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mike, you've got that onerous duty.
In the spirit of formalities, we should probably also get a first and a second for Bob as well.
Oh, for me
Yes.
too. Yeah. Do I have a motion to approve Bob Stephenson as the chairman?
I motion.
A second?
Second.
I heard a second. Was that Kara?
Yep, I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion is also carried, so that we're all squared away, are we not? The next items were just approving the dates of other events. The Waterize webinar will be May the 10th with Annie. And I will get, I'm looking at the agenda and I went off the Zoom. Will, are you able to get these dates into the publication or to the hopper for the
For the citizen?
promotion for the citizens and for any other promotions that they want to do?
I believe so. Yeah, because I think the first one coming up is May from here. So yeah, they should. I mean, what if we get all these approved today? I should be able to put them all in, now, and then they'll just fall off into the citizen each time.
Great. And does all of that go through Tony? Is she, or where does that end up?
It's all through the communications department. I don't know who exactly runs it these days.
Yeah.
But
I can't figure it out either. I think Tony works with the volunteers and stuff, but I think she's under communications or in communications or whatever.
yeah,
So
I believe she is.
and then for those of you who are new, that's an education event, and we will do it as a webinar because Annie Barrow, who was on the committee, is an employee of the Botanic Gardens, and she can do that very easily. So we will promote it and hopefully get a good turnout and go from there. And hopefully from that, we can recruit some for the pollination garden volunteers and stuff too. Then the next item is cleanup. And what this usually involves is getting a group of citizens together and picking up trash and stuff. We chose June 26th because usually we did that before the 4th of July show. And one of the things that really worked well was to do that and clean up around Bellevue Park in areas that usually don't get much attention and help them out. So that's why June 26th is in there. But with the pandemic, we did not have a 4th of July celebration this last year. So the August 14th date is a backup, and we would then choose another area that would need some attention. And we would probably work with parks or with somebody in the city that would know what needed to be done. Then the next thing is the hazardous materials and electronics recycling, and that is set for September 18th and September 25th, and we will need volunteers for that. And basically that allows people to pay a small fee, bring any chemicals that they want to get rid of, and also electronic items. And we go down to the service center. We have a recyclers contracted, and they accept them and recycle them so that they are not fed into the dump or into the environment. And then, the other one is that's not on here is the leaf recycling, which we do with the city of city of Littleton, I mean. And that is usually around the last weekend of October and the first weekend of November.
Yeah,
Do I have that
left it
right,
off on
Will?
That's correct. Yeah, I left it off on that list because it's not our dates to
It's not-
pick. So
Yeah, so we will find those dates and go from there. And then the worm casting webinar is, we were looking at a date and I forgot that. Who can tell me? Let me see.
I believe that one was the one that was Raphael's friend.
Raphael was
Yeah. I don't know if before tonight, I don't think we ever discussed a date for it because we were waiting to see if he had anything. So
Raphael,
yeah,
you emailed me, didn't you?
I don't think she's on this call.
No, she's not on the call.
So could we maybe wait to pick a date until she's on to help coordinate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we have a date and I think it's in April, so that may be a little earlier than, but that can work out. I will send you guys, I will send it to you, Will, as soon as I can find it and make sure that that is a go.
Sounds
But
good.
it seemed like we were talking about April, and it seems to me that that's what she came up with. So I will let you know, Will, and we can go from there and get that out if we need to. Okay.
That sounds good to me.
Great.
Ask the question. This may or may not be possible, but one thing we've learned in the last year or so is this group needs more help in all of these projects. If it's just us who are the volunteers, it grows old after a couple years. And so I think we've all agreed we need a contingent of volunteers to work with KEB. Now, we've talked about using Keep America Beautiful as a resource for creating a volunteer list. Bob's talked to Tony. Could we put a message out somewhere, maybe in the Citizen, anyone interested in volunteering to work with Keep Englewood Beautiful, call Mike Chisholm, call this number, send an email. We need, I don't care if it's 5 people, we need some more volunteers to help out on these projects. And I just think we dance it around, and it's the same people at the leaf pickup. It's just us. And I think we need to delegate more. So can we take a first step? Could we put that message out in the Citizen? Is anybody willing to help out?
I'll help out. Why don't we leverage any social media? Like I've looked, and I'm not even on Facebook, and there's other like Keep Denver Beautiful, Keep Austin Beautiful Facebook groups. We don't do any of that.
And it really would help.
Are we allowed to?
Well,
I'm
I
not
think
sure if we
we
can have our
are.
own social media, but I mean, for any of our events and things like that, when they happen, we do post them all on the general city's Facebook, and all the other social medias as well that they have. So they do get posted in that. I'm open to ideas on ways to make that better. But I mean, yeah, they do definitely get posted on every single one of our events multiple times.
Okay.
But I mean, I've never known anybody to try to help KEB. I've never known of a volunteer who said, I want to help out at the leaf pickup. And my concern is, I don't think there's a way for them to do that. And it may behoove us to create a portal of some kind for them to do it. I'm all about coordinating with the city, but it gets lost in the shuffle. And again, I'm talking about maybe 5 volunteers. I'm not talking 100. I'd love 100, but
Mhm.
I just don't. If social media is the answer, and Rachel can, if you can help us do that, it'd be wonderful. But it would
Kind of
really
sounds like we're not allowed to. What about next door? Can we?
Like
The
I
city
said, I'm
also-
pretty sure everything with social media has to go through the city's communications department.
Yep.
But I mean, I think that's why we joined that KAB portal in the first place last year, right?
Right.
I mean, we only had a couple. I mean, we probably had, 4 or 5 new people at the hazardous waste event, and then, I think we had like 1 or 2 for the for the leaf. But I mean, maybe that's just because it was the first year of it, and getting more people to sign up on that throughout the year.
well. And is the K, Bob was telling me there's concern or confusion about the Keep America Beautiful portal versus the city of Englewood communications, integration, approval, etc. I think we get, sometimes I think we overthink this stuff. I mean, Keep America Beautiful has a distinct web-based portal that anybody who's involved with Keep America Beautiful can use for free.
Right. Yeah.
That's
whenever we
totally
used
illegal.
whenever we used it for the hazardous waste event and leaf, I showed it to Tony, who's the one that handles all of the
Mhm.
city volunteers, just kind of generally. And I know she looked at it. I don't know if she, because for her main thing is that a lot of these programs, besides the KAB one, have a difficulty tracking hours and things like that. So she was really interested in kind of trying to transition over to it. But I don't know if she ever got to test it or anything. It with one of her own events.
Well, Bob, you were telling me, and you can speak to it, but it doesn't sound like that's going to fly. She's on overload. There's an integration issue, etc. But I mean, I just believe that somebody like Rachel called up Jason at Keep America Beautiful, she could do it. Sorry, Rachel, I'm enlisting you, but I'm just saying we don't need 100 volunteers. And if there's a distinct way we can use a tool, let's stop analyzing it. Let's just use it.
So I'm on another committee for the code enforcement, and we actually have created a subcommittee specifically for communications. And I don't know if any of you guys noticed, but we actually got like a full page spread in the quarterly Englewood magazine
Citizen.
for the last quarter, all about code enforcement. So I wonder, if maybe that's something we want to try to do here and create a little subcommittee and see if, maybe we can get a plug in the magazine, or, work with them on social media. I know, we're in the process of talking to them about that as well. And, we could also maybe do a little article about, this project that we're working on, just to bring attention to the group and, the things that we're working on.
Well, I would love it. I just think sometimes we just spin our wheels. And I know that if we do get involved in this pollinator garden, they can use a lot of volunteer help. And I would love to volunteer myself and help them, but every helping hand is a big deal. And
I think, I think part of the onus is on us too, to get a little more organized about like a communication schedule, what we'd like in that, so that we have those instead of just saying, hey, Will, can you do this?
Yeah.
I think we can take on some of that responsibility too, and try to help be a little more organized and strategic about that as well. So maybe that's like an action item, is that I can take, as I can put something tentatively together and circulate it with the group.
I agree.
I don't know what the next step would be. I mean, what should we have another meeting
Well,
and talk about it? Or, I mean, it's getting late. I don't want to tie everybody's time
No.
up,
I
but-
think we can wait till next month for sure.
Okay.
do that right now.
I think if Will and I can maybe talk, and I will, and then maybe keep you guys in the loop through an email and see what we can do. And I'm trying to understand how, which is what I told Tony, we want to help her, but we need help too, and so
Yeah.
I think we can make some progress on this month. So
And,
I will
Great.
take the initiative on that. I'll get with you, Will. We'll work on this.
Yeah.
Butterfly Garden could be a great article for the Citizen at some point too. And I don't know what lead time they need or whatever, but I think we can continue to do this. So anyway, we will
Real quick,
continue
Bob,
to work. Go ahead, Will.
For the KAB portal, once we actually get people signed up for an event, it creates an email list for us. So, any of the people that have volunteered at any of our events in the past, or, for this last year, because it's the first time we've used it, we still have all of their emails. So, I mean, I think it's something of needing to build that base for sure, but I think you guys are right. We do. I mean, we have the tools. It's just
We need a pilot. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not, Tony's busy, so I'm not criticizing her in any way. But I
Yeah.
think it may be unreasonable for us to put it on her desk and say,
yeah, I think this is
pilot
our
this
own
project.
I think this is our own thing.
Maybe I should be doing it. Somebody on our committee maybe should be pilot or co-piloting the KAB portal, because it's a pretty cool tool, what I saw of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think we can maybe utilize this without stepping on the city's toes or whatever.
Right.
But let's get something rolling and go from there. So anyway, I think we've covered our bases, and so I will be working and on finding out what hoops we need to jump through with council and you, Will, on the grant money. And then we will work on communication and move forward. And so we don't lose momentum and just spin our wheels and slide back down the hill into oblivion. So is there anything else? Any commissioner?
In the spirit of more formalities, do we want to vote on those three, all those dates for all those events? We can just do it all as one.
Yes, we do need to solidify those. Do I have a motion to approve those dates as read?
So move.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed, say no. Motion is carried unanimously. And we will add, I found Raphael's email about worms and there was not a specific date, so I will try and get that lined up in the next couple days. Okay. Joe, did you have anything from council?
No update from me.
How's the single hauler moving forward? Is that
They are coming up with the single hauler committee is coming up with criteria for the RFP. And I think it's going to come back to council for approval for those criteria in March, before the RFP goes off in the kind of March, April timeframe. So we'll know more about that in the coming months.
So do you think by 2022, we may have a single hauler plan in place? Is that the aim?
Well, that depends on what the price,
Yeah.
what the price is, and then and how council, it's possible council could say, you know what, this needs to go before the voters. So I don't really know how council's going to land on it. It
Okay.
really, for me, it's really price dependent. If they come back with something that's going to beat what most people are paying, then sure, let's go for it. But if it's on the line, or if it's if it's going to cost more than we expect, then I would rather send that to the voters.
Yeah. Okay. Any other business? Okay, I will entertain a motion to dismiss.
I second.
All in favor, wave goodbye. Okay.
Nice to meet you guys.
Great.
Nice to meet you.
It's good to
Bye.
have you all.
See you later.
We'll
Thanks,
move
guys.
Good
forward.
evening.
Thank you much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.